The mirror without reflection. The wind howled through the frost-covered streets of Chicago's South Side, a bitter January gale that swept through the city on January 7, 2026, plunging the temperature to a bone-chilling 20 C. Snow piled high against the crumbling brick facade of the old apartment building at 47th and Halsted, a relic from the 1920s that had seen better days, its walls stained with decades of grime, its windows boarded up or shattered, its roof sagging under the weight of the storm. The building was a forgotten husk, a place where the desperate and the lost came to disappear, its halls echoing with the ghosts of its past tenants who'd vanished without a trace, whispers of strange happenings, of a darkness that lingered in the shadows. Aiden Clark, a 28-year-old artist with sharp cheekbones, pale blue eyes, and a mop of dark brown hair, stood in the dimly lit hallway of his new apartment on the 4th floor, his breath fogging in the frigid air, his hands trembling as he fumbled with the keys. He'd moved in a week ago, drawn by the cheap rent for a month, a steal in a city where even a closet cost twice that, and the promise of solitude, a place to paint, to escape the noise of the world, to heal from the burnout that had left his creativity in tatters, his once vibrant canvases now gathering dust in a storage unit. Aiden had always been a solitary soul, more comfortable with his brushes and paints than with people, his art a window into a mind that saw beauty in the broken, the decayed, the forgotten. But the past year had been a descent into darkness, failed gallery shows, scathing reviews, a breakup that left him hollow, and a creeping sense of failure that gnawed at him day and night. The apartment was his last chance, a place to start over, to find the spark he'd lost. It was small, barely 400 square feet, its walls papered in faded floral patterns that peeled at the edges, the floor creaking under his weight, the air heavy with the scent of dust, old wood, and something faintly metallic, like rust or blood. The heat barely worked, the radiator clanking and hissing, offering little warmth against the cold that seeped through the cracked windows, the glass rattling in its frame as the wind screamed outside. Aiden didn't mind. He liked the isolation, the quiet, the way the building seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for something. But it was the basement that changed everything. A damp, cavernous space he discovered on his second day, a place that would become his nightmare. The basement door was at the end of the first floor hallway, its wood warped, its paint peeling, a rusted padlock hanging loose, as if someone had broken in long ago. Aiden had gone down there looking for storage space, his flashlight cutting through the darkness, illuminating a maze of forgotten junk, moldy cardboard boxes, broken furniture, a child's tricycle with one wheel missing, its red paint chipped, its handlebars bent. The air was thick, damp, the scent of mildew and decay so strong it made his eyes water, the concrete floor slick with moisture, the walls pocked with cracks, some deep enough to fit a hand inside. He moved deeper, his boots echoing in the silence, the beam of his flashlight catching something in the corner, a mirror, an antique, its frame carved with intricate, swirling patterns that looked almost alive, the wood blackened with age, the glass clouded with dust, its surface rippling faintly as if it were breathing. It stood nearly 6 feet tall, propped against a crumbling concrete wall, its presence heavy, oppressive, a weight that pressed against his chest, making it hard to breathe. Aiden approached, his curiosity outweighing the unease that prickled at the back of his neck, his flashlight shaking in his hand as he wiped the dust away with his sleeve, expecting to see his reflection. But there was nothing, just a void, a black emptiness that seemed to stretch endlessly, swallowing the light, the darkness so deep it felt alive, watching him. He stepped closer, his heart pounding, his breath hitching, and then he saw it, a figure, faint at first, forming in the depths of the glass. It had his shape, his height, his dark hair, But its face was wrong, eyes hollow, black, endless, a mouth stretched wide, filled with jagged, needle-like teeth, a smile that wasn't a smile, but a threat, a promise of something terrible. The figure tilted its head, mirroring his movement, and whispered, its voice a low, guttural rasp that echoed in his skull. I am you. The sound wasn't just heard, it was felt, a vibration that crawled under his skin, slithering through his veins, wrapping around his heart, squeezing until he couldn't breathe. Aiden stumbled back, his flashlight clattering to the floor, the beam spinning wildly, casting shadows that danced across the basement walls, their shapes twisting, stretching, reaching for him. He ran, his boots slipping on the slick concrete, his hands clawing at the air as he bolted up the stairs, slamming the basement door behind him, his chest heaving, his mind racing, the whisper lingering in his ears. I am you. I am you. I am you. He locked the door, his hands trembling, his body shaking, the cold seeping into his bones. But it wasn't the cold of the building, it was something deeper, something that came from the mirror, from the figure, from the void. He tried to paint that night to distract himself, to pour the fear into his art, but his hands wouldn't stop shaking, his brush strokes jagged, chaotic, the canvas filling with dark, twisted shapes, eyes, teeth, a smile that wasn't his, a face that wasn't his, staring back at him, whispering, I am you. For days, he avoided the basement, staying in his apartment, the door locked, the windows covered with old sheets, the light dim, the shadows long. But the mirror haunted him, its presence a weight on his chest, a pull he couldn't resist, a voice in his head that wouldn't stop. I am you. Come back. I am you. He stopped sleeping, his nights filled with the sound of scratching, faint but insistent, coming from the walls, the floor, the ceiling, a sound that followed him, that grew louder, closer, until it was inside his skull, clawing at his thoughts, his sanity. On the third night, he woke to the sound of scratching at his apartment door, a slow, deliberate scrape, like nails on wood, the sound echoing in the silence, the air thick with dread. He grabbed a kitchen knife, his hands shaking, his heart pounding, and opened the door, the hallway dark, the air cold, the mirror standing there, its glass gleaming in the moonlight. The figure closer now, its hollow eyes staring, its toothy maw wider, whispering, I am you. The sound slithering through the air, wrapping around him, pulling him closer. He tried to look away, but his reflection or the lack of it held him, his body moving against his will, his hand reaching out, touching the glass, the surface cold, slick, alive, rippling under his fingers like water, like flesh. The figure pressed against the other side, its face inches from his, its empty eyes boring into him, its voice louder. I am you. Let me out. Aiden yanked his hand back, his skin burning where he'd touched the glass, a faint mark forming a black line, like a vein, snaking up his wrist, pulsing with a slow, rhythmic thump, the pain sharp, searing, spreading up his arm, across his chest, his neck, his face, a network of darkness that pulsed with every heartbeat, every breath, every thought. He slammed the door, barricading it with a chair, a table, anything he could find. But the scratching continued, the whisper growing, I am you, until it was inside his head, drowning his thoughts, his screams, his sanity, the black veins spreading, his body changing, his reflection in the bathroom mirror, different, his skin pallor, almost translucent, his eyes darker, the blue fading to gray, his smile wider, unnatural, his teeth sharper, longer, the figure's smile, the figure's eyes, the figure's voice, I am you. He called his friend Mia, a curator at a local gallery, her voice a lifeline in the chaos, her number the only one he could remember in his panic. Aiden, what's wrong? You sound off, she said, her tone laced with worry, her voice crackling. Through the phone, the signal weak, the storm outside interfering. He told her about the mirror, the figure, the changes, his voice cracking. It's me. But it's not me, Mia. It's taking me. I don't know what to do. She came over that afternoon, braving the blizzard, her face pale as she saw him, his skin almost white, his eyes nearly black, his smile, a grotesque parody of the Aiden she knew, the black veins visible beneath his skin, pulsing, spreading, his hands trembling as he showed her the mark, the mirror, the figure. We need to destroy it, she said, her voice firm, her hands steady as she grabbed a crowbar from her car, her determination a stark contrast to his fear. They dragged the mirror to the alley behind the building, the snow swirling around them, the wind biting at their skin, the glass gleaming, the figure watching, whispering, "I am you," as they smashed it, the crowbar shattering the glass into 1,000 pieces, the frame splintering, the figure gone, or so they thought. That night, Aiden woke to the sound of glass reforming, a soft, tinkling sound, like wind chimes, coming from the hallway, the air thick with dread, the cold seeping into his bones, his heart pounding as he grabbed the knife, his hands shaking, his body trembling. The mirror was back, whole, standing at the foot of his bed, the figure closer than ever, its hand pressed against the glass, its fingers long, claw-like, its voice a hiss. "I am you. We are one." Aiden screamed, grabbing a hammer, smashing the mirror again, the shards cutting his hands, his arms, his face, the pain sharp, searing, the pieces moving, crawling across the floor, reforming, the figure stepping out, its body a twisted version of his, its skin pale, its eyes hollow, its mouth a gaping maw of teeth, its voice his own. "I am you, Aiden." It reached for him, its claws brushing his face, cold, sharp, the black veins on his body pulsing faster, his reflection in the bathroom mirror gone, replaced by the figure, smiling, speaking, "I am you. I am free." He ran, his bare feet pounding the floor, the building shifting around him, the hallways stretching, the doors vanishing, the walls closing in, the figure behind him, its laughter his own, its voice echoing, "You can't run from yourself." He found Mia's apartment on the second floor, banging on the door, his fists bloody, his voice hoarse, "Mia, help me, it's here." She opened the door, her face twisting in horror, not at him, but at what he'd become. "Aiden, your face, it's not you," she whispered, backing away, her eyes wide, her hands trembling, her breath fogging in the cold air of the hallway. He looked in her hallway mirror, and the figure was there. But it wasn't in the glass, it was him. His body, his face, his smile, his eyes, all of it, the figure's now, the black veins covering him, his humanity gone. His voice a rasp. "I am you, Mia." She screamed, slamming the door, but it broke through, its claws sinking into her, her screams fading as the figure took her too, her reflection vanishing, her body changing, her skin paling, her eyes darkening, her smile widening, the mirror claiming another. The next morning, the building was quiet, the storm still raging outside, the snow piling higher, the streets empty, the city silent. A maintenance worker, 45-year-old Carlos Rivera, arrived to check the pipes, his flashlight cutting through the darkness of the fourth-floor hallway, his boots echoing in the silence, the air thick with the scent of dust and decay. He found Aiden's apartment door ajar, the room empty, the walls covered in sketches, hundreds of them, taped to the peeling wallpaper, each one a self-portrait. Aiden's face pale, his eyes hollow, his smile wide, his teeth sharp, a note scrawled on the floor, in black paint. "Don't look in the mirror." Carlos heard scratching, faint but insistent, coming from the hallway, his heart pounding as he turned. The mirror, standing there, its glass gleaming, his reflection missing, a figure forming, its face, his, its eyes hollow, its mouth full of teeth, whispering, "I am you." A week later, the building was sealed off. The police called after Carlos vanished. His truck still parked outside. His flashlight found in the hallway, its battery dead. A new tenant, a young woman named Clara, moved in a month later, drawn by the cheap rent, unaware of the history, the disappearances, the whispers. She found one of Aiden's sketches in the closet, a self-portrait, his face pale, his eyes hollow, his smile wide, a note scrawled in the corner, "Don't look in the mirror." That night, she heard scratching, faint but insistent, coming from the hallway. She opened the door, and there it was, the mirror, its glass gleaming, her reflection missing, a figure forming, its face hers, its eyes hollow, its mouth full of teeth, whispering, "I am you." The building stood silent, the mirror waiting, its hunger endless, its whispers spreading, a darkness that would never be sated, a reflection that would never be whole.